Hi, everyone. So I should synchronize myself with Dmitry, and now we can just skip a couple of slides about the company. Sber Automotive Technologies was set up last year, and it works in automotive market solutions. For us, this is a logical follow-up of our projects, bringing new things into various industries. You remember how internet changed our computers. You remember how mobile internet and technologies changed the whole industry of communications. But now it's the automotive industry's turn to participate in this process. Why we're interested in this? Artificial intelligence and technologies. We think that all changes that will happen in the nearest future in the automotive industry are only possible through new technologies of computer vision and big data learning and so on. Yes, we can interpret in various ways what AI is all about, but I would like to give you the following definition. AI is a means to scale up the best result that we can demonstrate. We people, I mean. And speaking about automotive industry, there is always someone who can go better, who can show better performance, can be faster, and ride a car with the lowest fuel consumption. But does it mean that he can offer the same performance every time? Probably not. And technologies allow us to achieve top things and make it a commodity. Changes in the automotive industry are happening right now. I can say that artificial intelligence is here to stay, and it's not just about unmanned vehicles, but let's look at what happens in the automotive industry right now. I just want to speak about the following. Are we afraid of an artificial intelligence, or we're expecting it to come to stay? Just a couple of years ago, we were telling a story about about things that we always do on our cars. We tell to our navigator, please make a route to the office, and we do the same to go back home from office, talking to the navigating system to make the route. Today's modern systems free up our time and make this routine on their own. But the question is on how quickly we can actually go away from things that we took as our strength before. In Moscow now, there are a few people who drive their cars without a navigator. This is not a habit. This is a necessity now to use a navigator. Yes, there are people who cannot drive their cars if their battery is low and the navigator is not navigating them. But the question is it good or bad that we have artificial intelligence now around? Should we be afraid of it? Artificial intelligence for modern cars allows us to take all the best things that we want to take on board. It allows us to make a mechanism that gives us an opportunity to bring all our habits with ourselves and bring it into the cars. The revolution we are following now, this revolution is actually boosting this service as a commodity. It doesn't only change interior or exterior of vehicles, and it doesn't only change the traffic situation, reduce the amount of traffic jams. A lot of things will change, including the business model or the model of owning a vehicle. For the recent 100 years, we were living in a paradigm where a car is something you want to own, but technologies allow us to make any car as convenient and comfortable as your own. And this starts with no, this is the wrong word. It consists of two things. When you have your own car, why it is different from unmanned vehicles of the future? It should always be available. My own car means I can drive it anytime I want. And of course, unmanned vehicles can be where you want them to be, and it is not necessary to own this vehicle. And number two, this is a sense of your own, of your comfort. We want to buy a car because we want our personal space, and that's why we make this choice, whether to use public transport or your own place. And to create your own space, technologies help us very well in this, to create an emotional environment. So probably specific lighting inside or the level of sound inside and the music you get used to. This is empathy, since you can communicate with this gadget as something you own. It can address you using your name. Can it might know your needs and where you want to go, and it really understands where you want to go, and the manner of driving. You know, some people drive smoothly, some people drive quite actively and aggressively. Even these things can be considered by technology of artificial intelligence. That's why it is a proof saying that this is not the future. This is an environment we live in now. Does it mean that artificial intelligence should get into all cars and substitute people? And should we take unmanned driving and various services in cars as a substitution for people? Yes and no. Of course, it is easier to start with such things and make such vehicles in a way that they drive not worse than human beings. But if we look further, a car that every company owns that operates in unmanned vehicles area, it should bear the whole infrastructure on board. And this is its drawback and an advantage altogether. And now I'm going to this 5G and infrastructure theme. The future for maximum scaling up of such gadgets on the roads, of course, we will need infrastructure for this task. And of course, new services will come out that will take care of not only the safety of driving, but optimizing various parameters of the trips, the speed, and also traffic jams on the road, and a lot of other considerations. If we look at how our world will be structured when hundreds of thousands and millions of cars or vehicles, I do not know how we will call them, when they start their transportation services with cargoes and passengers, of course, we need to also think about the availability of such vehicles on the monitors of operators. Of course, there are a lot of points to consider. Operators might be interested to switch on and help a vehicle to tackle problems. This might be very funny things. We make rides now on the roads, highways in Moscow or St. Pete, or from Moscow to St. Pete, or from Moscow to Kazan, and we face interesting things down the road when algorithms are not capable of moving forward, not because this is a challenging task for them, but because the conditions are such that either you cannot go forward or you have to violate the regulations. For instance, the repayment works are underway on the road, and the workers put special orange cones not on the separating line, but next to it. And it means that a large vehicle cannot move forward. It either touches the cones or it violates the rules. How people do usually, they go to this solid line touching the solid line and violating those rules. But sometimes technologists do not know how to tackle such things, how to meet these challenges. And this is what I wanted to touch upon also. I think that all concerns around artificial intelligence come out when we start thinking about what happens if it violates the rules. And this example, when you need to face this dilemma to stop the whole highway traffic or just violate the rule, this is one of the key things here, because when we, even with a lot of considerations, if we say that at this particular point of time, in this situation, you can violate the rules, probably that's when something can start and lead us to this conflict between robots and people. Thank you very much for your attention. That's it from me.